back at it again. Shit. Why you jumping? It's just the hook. Why you stuttering? Is it that you shook? Shit.
What is up, y'all? I first want to address something shiny and pretty and wonderful that Canadians have done. Okay? And of course, as is usual, when Canadians have done something wonderful, we kind of mean that Canadian children have done something wonderful, because the children are the future and the adults are the disaster. Let's be real. Okay, so let's take a look at this article, because this article really made my day. I'm going to keep it a buck. Totally made my day. Okay? Children. Not just any children, but Canadian children. Canadian children. I believe that children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. These children came up with a brilliant hypothesis, and they wanted to know if EpiPens, the life-saving allergen attacker, no, that's not the word, where you are anaphylactically allergic. Okay, that means that it starts making your tongue, your throat, your mouth, your lungs, everything swell. Okay, and it can cut off your airways and cut off circulation in your blood very quickly, and you could die. However, the EpiPen was a miracle, because all of a sudden you could kind of give yourself this hit from the EpiPen, right? And it would buy you more than enough time for you to get to any hospital, right? Buy you maybe not several hours, but, at least a few hours. So, I mean, it really has been life-saving. And I think that, as we usually do, especially if you're in North America, right? We think that, well, shoot, if something works here, it's going to work anywhere in the universe even, right? Well, these kids are smarter than all of us, because they decided to question that. Okay? And they questioned it, and guess what? They were right to question it. So let's take a look. What did they do? Okay, for the record, this was in Ottawa. Okay, I'm not in Ottawa, but I am in Ontario, and Ottawa is the capital of Ontario, so just kind of proves that everyone in my province is smarter than everyone else. But anyway, fine. And they were gifted. I was gifted too. I always told my parents that, they wasted all of my potential. Okay, point is, okay? So there's this class of gifted students, and they came up with a hypothesis that not even NASA had thought to question, or maybe obviously they hadn't thought to question it, because finding out was pretty simple. Okay. Now it's grades 4 to 6 at St. Brother Andre Elementary School in Ottawa. And there's this NASA initiative there called Cubes in Space. Okay, now this program helps children and teenagers around the world launch experiments aboard NASA rockets, which is pretty cool, right?
With water, and then a vial of it with Demeron around it.
They're part of a NASA research initiative helping kids launch experiments in space. And these 9 to 11-year-olds are thinking way outside the box.
To find out that scientists that have been working for years and years and years on this haven't discovered something, and then us elementary school kids discover it. It's really cool.
The discovery began with a common medical tool found in schools across the country, the EpiPen, an injectable device that delivers a life-saving drug and reverses the effects of severe allergies. The students had a question. Would an EpiPen still work in space?
It was pretty cool because we think that NASA didn't know about it.
They put samples in tiny cubes sent on board a NASA rocket and balloon. Once the cubes returned to Earth, their contents were brought here, to the University of Ottawa, where scientists made a remarkable discovery in the lab.
University of Ottawa chemist Paul Mayer, who helped analyze the group's findings, said, I thought it was brilliant. And it was brilliant. Let's be real. It was brilliant, right? Now, the first part of doing the science is asking the right questions. They asked a fantastic question. This is all what Mr. Meyer said, okay? Now, it's true. So they took these tiny samples of epinephrine, right? That's what's in an EpiPen. Epinephrine, EpiPen, get it? And they put them into these tiny cubes, right? Which were sent on board a NASA rocket and balloon. Now, once the cubes returned to Earth, their contents were brought to a lab at the University of Ottawa. there, Meyer and his team made a remarkable discovery. Epinephrine no longer worked. This stunned career chemists. Imagine being the 9 to 11-year-old. That stunned career chemists because you asked the right question and you got the best answer ever in life. Like, amazing. I love these kids. Love these kids. Anyway, I'm going to say that this is still theorized. And the reason why I say it's still theorized is because the way science works is you ask one question, you get an answer to that question. Then you make up a bunch of guesses, educated guesses, as to why you got the results you did. And then, if you're a good scientist, you repeat the study to make sure you'll get the same findings. And you also start running more experiments to test your hypotheses of why you got the results you did in the last experiment, right? So here, right, they are just asking the questions at this point. Why did we get the results we did? Why does the epinephrine not work? What exactly went wrong? Now, what they think, right, is that there is an interaction with the cosmic radiation that comes when you leave the atmosphere. In fact, part of the sample became toxic in space. Now, we know for sure that part of that sample came back toxic. Okay, so the epinephrine samples went up there 100% epinephrine and came back 87% epinephrine. And 13% converted to benzoic acid. 13% benzoic acid. That is heavily, heavily toxically poisonous, okay? Like, it's very, very much so. So, had they made the mistake of not asking this question the first time they shot that EpiPen into someone on the Mars colony or wherever, yeah, that person would just be dead. Very painfully and scarily. Okay. And so now it comes down to, right? Well, obviously, and let's be real. So the article then says, well, what are we going to do about these astronauts with severe allergies? I'm going to bet there are no astronauts with severe allergies. In fact, a lot of TV shows have kind of made commentary about this, including like House, which is that one astronaut. She couldn't have like the littlest thing wrong with her health or she'd never be allowed in space. And I think that they do that for a reason, right? Because they don't know. They don't know how any of our science, any of our technologies, any of our anything will work in space. So they're sending astronauts up there to collect data, really, and make observations. But we're not far enough along in our knowledge to be able to send an astronaut up into space and to just, you know, hey, if something goes wrong, you'll be all right. Here's an EpiPen. Like, we're not far enough along in our knowledge. And considering what we just discovered, I'm going to say, yeah, definitely not. Okay? Can we all just applaud these kids? Can we all just applaud these kids? Okay, now their teacher, I'm gonna give some kudos to their teacher as well. Okay, teachers do not get enough respect and appreciation. These were brilliant kids, but then under the guidance and leadership of who? Now this teacher, Deborah Quayle Blyer. Okay, kudos to her. She said she couldn't believe the results, and she also said, we were all so shocked and excited. My students are very forward thinking. They're already anticipating people going to the moon and then beyond and colonizing Mars, right? And she says her class is now preparing to travel to Virginia in June to share their findings with NASA. That's awesome. That is so awesome. These kids must be thrilled through the moon. When I was their age, we were naming the $2 coin. My class didn't win. My school didn't win. I'm pretty sure my province didn't win. We were all crestfallen, right? But that was just like coming up with a random name for a $2 coin, right? These kids discovered something like revolutionary that is going to affect science and the idea of space travel and all of that for like ever, like in an infinite number of ways. Like, these kids get to be recognized for that. That is incredible. Incredible. I mean, it's incredible they got to participate anyway, even if they got no results, right? If their null hypothesis was proven true, it still would have been amazing, right? But it wasn't. They were right. Amazing. Just amazing. I just kudos to these kids, and kudos to Ottawa and Canada in general for, really igniting inspiration in our children. Yeah.
back at it again. Shit. Why you jumping? It's just a hug. Why you starting? Is it that you should? Shit.